Whether you are an ally to the queer community or have differing views, we want our children to have an authentic discovery of who they are, free from any pressure. And why I worry that our girls today are experiencing unprecedented pressure is because since 2010, girls identifying as queer has doubled or tripled that of the rate of boys their own age. And psychologists have been saying for many years that women are more flexible than men and how they view gender attraction, possibly the biggest difference between boys and girls as they seek to authentically determine their sexual identity and preferences, is that girls experience much more pressure in how they identify. And it happens in the following ways. It's extremely rare that a straight boy would go to a party hoping to meet the girl that he likes. And while he's at the party, the other kids urge him into kissing some of the boys there because they find it fun or exciting. It might happen, but it's more rare. Unfortunately for girls, this is rather common. A lot of the boys find it fun. So straight girls are pressured into kissing other girls at the party, maybe even to impress the boy that they had a crush on that evening. And although this activity doesn't, in and of itself, cause a straight girl to assume she's bi, it certainly breaks down the barrier of starting to consider it and get more comfortable with the idea. And you'll see throughout this presentation that it's really the accumulation of a lot of little things that I think adds up to a pressure for some girls. Some girls have said that, it just seems like everyone else around me is questioning if they're queer. I wonder if I am too. When you have a best friend that you've shared almost everything in common with your whole life, including talking about the boys you like, and one day that friend comes to you and says that they've discovered that they're bi, and they explain all the reasons why, it would be very natural for the girl who wasn't bi to start to wonder if I am too. And that might drive her to websites to explore the topic more. And you will find a real mix among websites that give information about the queer community. Some of them are very scientific. Some of them don't have any pressuring in the language at all. They're just informative and loving. But there are some websites that make pretty bold suggestions. They'll say, if you've ever wondered if you might be bi or queer, that means you probably are. Some will have a short quiz to take to find out if you might be bi or should at least explore it more to be sure. Some sites will encourage people to watch pornography to help them identify better where they belong in the queer community or if they belong in the queer community. But there's a variety of information out there, some of it quite influencing, that your child can end up on, depending on how they Google this topic. Another key difference between boys and girls in this area, that even a boy who might be supportive of one of his guy friends coming out as gay, if his guy friend was to bring it up, the response might be something like, all right, man, you be you. That's cool. Whatever. Let's go play video games now or basketball. But if a girl was to bring it up to her girlfriends, it's very common that that would turn into an hour-long conversation of, hearing the whole story and how does she feel and what was it like to learn about it, and how can I be more supportive as a friend? And it's great that girls tend to communicate a lot about their feelings and tend to really like to be supportive of each other. But it just goes to show the difference in dynamic. Another notable difference is that although a gay or bi boy might reach out to his straight guy friends to ask them out or maybe even spontaneously kiss them if they feel the mood is right, they know there's a pretty good chance they might just get beat up if they do that or teased or ostracized. But if a girl asks out her girlfriend or maybe thinks that there's a mutual attraction and so takes the risk to offer a kiss, thinking that it might be welcome, there's less of a fear of violence or automatic strong rejection from the friend or peer group. It might be something more like, oh no, I'm not interested. In middle school and even sometimes high school, the boys with enough guts to ask a girl out, they're really only asking the popular girls out. An unpopular girl might start to feel very lonely. And if the girl who asked her out is one of her few best friends, she might fear losing a good friend and being more alone at school if she doesn't at least consider the idea. I've also spoken with a teenager who said, I always seem to be hit on by people of the same gender. Maybe they know something about me that I don't. The one that I think is most damaging and scary for our daughters right now is the lack of quality time with other girls that's happened over COVID and even in our society ever since kids have been staying indoors more on technology. Gone are the days where girls would giggle together at sleepovers almost every weekend. We would share our heart all the time. And I knew how easy it was to be emotionally intimate with girlfriends without any need or expectation of sexual intimacy for that to occur. Another huge issue for both boys and girls in this age of increased technology, but especially for girls, is that normal isn't special anymore. On TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, everyone is prettier, everyone is more talented, everyone is funnier, everybody else has more likes than you. It just seems like everyone is more special. And if you're just an A student and good at soccer, you're not special. Maybe there's even something wrong with you. That is what increased technology has done. It's one of the reasons why psychologists have determined that kids are more depressed these days, and especially girls, where increased time on the internet is strongly linked to depression. And I mentioned earlier that I have 3 daughters, and when they look up a recipe online or a makeup tutorial or an exercise video, the girls that are in these videos, they are also wearing skimpy clothing, which just further creates this expectation that they're never going to be beautiful enough. Some girls feeling almost certain that a boy won't find them attractive or won't find them attractive for very long. Turning to girlfriends for love carries less of a risk of rejection. And I touched upon the point that with every click and swipe, it seems like there are beautiful women everywhere. But what a lot of parents don't realize is how over sexualized those women are. If you follow what your kids are looking at on any of these social platforms, and of course on television screens and a lot of animes. And some parents will say to me, well, women have always been over sexualized since the beginning of time or back in my day too. But what people fail to realize is when we were growing up, there might have been the commercials or some of the movies where women were over sexualized, but we didn't even have iPhones, or we weren't on it as often. It wasn't in our pocket at school and on the bus and just 24/7 at home. So we were still looking less often at girls being over sexualized. So all of this adds up to a lot of girls being aware that women are beautiful, kind of having a sense of sexiness when they think of women and view women, and this can make an impact. So, in my next video, I will talk about what we can do to allow them to have an authentic decision, but to bring a balance of information for your child to choose from. I hope you'll check it out.